There is activity here. I would even go as far to say as murder.
Prepare to unearth the mysteries of the treasure that time forgot.
Hello and welcome to Most Haunted as we return to Woodchester Mansion.
Today we tentatively retrace steps first taken in 2003. On that live summer solstice investigation, a series of chilling poltergeistal events made sure that this was a place we had to revisit. Abandoned yet beautiful, frightful yet compelling. What will Woodchester throw our way?
Oh my God, what was that?
Encased by vast Gloucestershire parkland, Woodchester stands tall as a symbol of a dream unfulfilled. Standing on the site of a former Georgia manor house, over 100 craftsmen were entrusted with its original construction in the mid-1850s. But a decade later, work suddenly and mysteriously stopped, and no one knows why. Some attribute this to a lack of money, whilst others speculate of murder. Is this why a plethora of ghostly sights, shapes and sounds have all been experienced in a house that has never truly been a home? Even now, restoration work continues to complete this troubled task. But who is waiting behind the doors of Woodchester Mansion?
This magnificent Gothic mansion that was created by a gentleman called William Lee in the 1850s was never really lived in. His grandson Vincent, we believe, lived in a small part of the place, but other than that, it's certainly not been a family home. And so I wonder why this place has such a reputation for being haunted. And I think, to be honest with you, it's the original house, Spring Park, because an awful lot of the stonework that you'll see here is reclaimed stone, and I think we've got a lot of residual energy, echoes from the past, that are recorded here in the fabric of the building.
Along this first floor corridor near the chapel entrance and master bedroom, there have been sightings of a large hooded monk-like figure. Strange blue lights have often been seen and a very odd presence has been felt. Many peculiar sounds are heard here, from deep rumblings and light tappings to falling masonry when no one is around.
This incredible Victorian edifice, left alone by the builders for some strange reason, everyone walked out. They left their ladders propped up against the walls, their tools hanging in the places where they'd been stored, doorways that lead nowhere, and corridors that stop in mid-air. Nobody knows really why the workmen left. There is a story that a murder took place and everyone just disappeared and never came back.
The ghostly apparition of a man wearing a uniform has been seen in the bathroom behind me, and very clear sounds of children playing and laughing have been heard in the whole of this area. But this corridor is haunted by a woman wearing what's described as an 18th century costume. She's said to be sobbing with uncontrollable grief.
I think the most frightening experience I had was when I was staying here overnight, because we had a late event, and I woke up at about 2 o'clock in the morning to hear the sound of a sort of disembodied voice floating around the building. And I just sat up in terror listening to this and not daring to go and investigate. The voice was female, and it said one sentence over and over again, which was, "I want to go home."
Down here in this dark, foreboding cellar, the image of a large black dog has been seen and heard growling by unsuspecting guests. Legend has it that if anyone sees the ghost, then someone is about to die.
In all its Gothic glory, Woodchester Mansion offers so many complex characteristics. Why was it abandoned? Will anyone ever call it their home? And tonight, will we hear more from the chilling but invisible voice that wants to go home? Parapsychologist Kieran O'Keefe is as keen as anyone to resolve this building's air of mysticism.
And one thing with Woodchester Mansion is you really are in the middle of nowhere. So if anything happens, literally, it's just us, it's just the crew. And that does make you a little bit nervous.
It does, and certainly there's this fear involved when you know that there is no real escape route. You know, when you know that if an emergency happens, it's going to be very, very difficult to get in contact with anybody else. So that'll elevate fear in some way.
Now, what sort of experiments do you want to do tonight?
Well, I'd like to run a pilot for an experiment that I hope we're going to do in future locations as well, which is something that was originally thought up in 1966, and that's this idea of putting a grid over a floor plan and essentially having mediums go through marking on the floor plan where they sense something, where they may actually see something, where they may even communicate or make contact with a spirit. It's kind of a controlled way of seeing if the mediums are coming up with the exact location of where the eyewitnesses have reported things, rather than just focus on general description.
Bearing everything in mind, are you looking forward to tonight's investigation?
I really am looking forward to it, mainly because you've done a live here before and had quite an exciting time, and we're really looking forward to coming back here. I haven't experienced it before, and just even driving here, the 10 minutes or so from the village down here, and then pulling up here and just seeing the mansion for what it is, I'm really excited about it. I just can't wait.
But what had Kieran's control test produced? Which rooms did David Wells and Gordon Smith individually feel to be a source for this location's paranormal phenomena? All will be revealed later. This is a building that keenly interests us all. At first sight, it's beautiful but bare, yet supposedly full of death and disregard, and we were determined to unearth its many secrets. And with everyone ready to begin, Gordon's first port of call would be the same cellars where 4 innocuous visitors have been scratched in the last year alone. But how many more of Woodchester's mysteries were about to be unleashed?
In this room I actually felt, it's almost like, not sinister, but it's like a memory of something tragic, something quite bad happening. I'm not sure at the moment what it is, but I did get a sense as soon as we came in of a kind of essence, some kind of leftover memory, but it's quite a violent memory.
And would you say that this particular area down here is active?
There is activity here. I would even go as far to say as murder, because there was something very, as soon as I came in, just this complete kind of something grabbing me. And not physically, but my mind was completely locked into something when I came in here. And that is something that I'm sure if anybody's come in here and felt that there's been a haunting of kinds, that's what they felt.
Much of this property's turbulent past remains open to conjecture. So are these the initial signs that point to an answer of who allegedly haunts here? And after suffering at the hands of a poltergeist once before, would most haunted live to regret reopening the wounds of Woodchester Mansion? Gloucestershire's Woodchester Mansion is somewhere that most haunted and many of its viewers have encountered before, as our live investigation here in 2003 produced a series of startling events. But who or what can be held accountable for this building's troubled past? And can such misfortune be directly linked to the accelerated